So convince me why I should play Star Citizen by PC Gamer. It's going to be interesting because I have a feeling this is going to be very outsourced, like an outsider's view looking in at Star Citizen. So let's see what they have to say.
Here's why you should be playing Star Citizen.
This is going to be interesting.
Hey Internet, Gordon Ung with PC World here from Computex 2023. I am talking to one of my favorite tech talkers.
Yeah,
my brain is a little fried.
Yes.
This is the Poets. By the way, go to his YouTube channel. He is also on YouTubers, DAPOETS. But honestly, your TikTok content is top notch. This guy loves to water cool everything. He even
Thank
water
you for the 12 likes.
his NAS unit.
Yeah.
Delidded.
Liquid metal.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about all his awesome hardware coverage. I want to talk about this logo on his shirt because he plays Star
random.
Citizen,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know had come out because it's been kind of the butt of the joke of the gamers, the internet, that never launched.
It's not
Here it
really
comes.
out, but it's playable. So whatever that means. So it's a playable alpha, right?
Okay.
And
But
it's
like 6 years of playable alpha, right?
maybe more.
Okay.
Maybe more. Yeah. The thing is, it's one of the least toxic, or basically most positive communities out there for gaming. That's one of the things that really brought me into it.
That will change.
Because I played many different games over the years. I love space sims and stuff like that. Played Elite Dangerous, like
It's not out, but it's
1,600 hours of
playable.
Elite Dangerous, pandemic. And then one day of playing Star Citizen, I never went back to Elite Dangerous. Literally, just one day of playing it. That's the immersion and the positive community. Like just being in game, I'm like, how do I do this? And just like all kinds of help and support came out. When you
Zoolander's
compare that
hilarious,
to other
guys.
games, where you're like, how do I pull this trigger? And then everybody's going to trash you and
Right.
talk about your mama.
So
know?
you said actually it's interesting because you can have how many players per server?
Right now, like 120, but that's going to be growing, because before it
No,
was
it's
like
not.
50
You need
people, then they hit
server
100,
meshing.
then 120. We actually had like 113 people just on one ship together. It was a space yacht, and we had a lot of fun with that.
And I bet you
in
were
fact,
desyncing like crazy.
There's such a positive community that when people knew I was flying to Taipei for a Computex, some of the Star Citizen people started reaching out to me that live here in Taipei. They're like, hey, can we get together and stuff? And even in Los Angeles, there's the big Star Citizen hoopla. It's like an annual thing that they do. And that's actually being held in LA, which is kind of nice, called CitizenCon. So like the CIG, the big company, they just do a whole big event.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
people to come and enjoy, because that's how positive the community is
Huh.
together.
And I will tell you, my gaming community currently is a little toxic. I'm one of the toxic people, in fact. That's why I'm so excited to look for a game that's more positive.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned something that's really cool. So if you leave a rock somewhere, it stays there.
Yeah, so it's still in development. So if you're the type of person that loves to see new things coming out, like I know people play video games and like, oh, the DLC is coming out soon. No, the game is actually in development. So if you see a bug, type a report, they may fix it. If you're like, hey,
No.
this would play so much-
Let's talk about the issue council and bug fixing. Hot take, and this is my opinion. They will not fix shit unless it directly impacts them making money, i.e., ship duplication, ship part duplication, weapon duplication, mining order duplication. When it starts affecting them and their ability to sell ships, that's when they step in. Let's look at, okay, so I'm going to bring up two to three very important bug fixes that need to be hit that have never been hit. One, you know why? One of the reasons why the Gladiator's never flown, if you have somebody in the turret above you and you shoot the gun above the pilot's head, there's people that have reported having epileptic seizures because of the brightness and the strobing effect that it has on screen. It's been a known issue for 3 years now, I believe, and it's never been fixed. Let's talk about the 30K, where you could force a 30K using whiskey cola. I didn't know that that existed until Grumpy Eye brought it up. And at that point, the bug had been in the game for 2 years. It had been in the game for 2 years. And people, that's one of the reasons why we were having so many 30Ks throughout 3.17. It wasn't, look, there is bad netcode, and I'm not going to blame it on this one bug or this one glitch. But people could force a 30K by stacking 10 whiskey colas on them, putting it in their backpack, taking it out, and it would 30K the entire server. So, yeah. And it wasn't until that video started hitting the popular YouTube, Star Citizen YouTubers' streams and them reacting to it and them talking about it, then the very next day it was fixed. I don't think there's not many bug fixes. There's not. There's the bug fixes that are adjusted for, you know, playability and supposed server crashing and crash desktops that don't seem to ever work. I'm not saying they're not putting in the work. They just don't work. But whenever it comes to exploitations and us making money hand over fist within the game, you know, whether it's duping a mining order, whether it's duping, like right now, you know, I hate to say this, but people think that 320 is not going to happen. 2.6-ish. That's interesting, Comanche. Let's talk about what was I going to say? But yeah, people don't think that there's going to be a wipe for 320. There's going to be a wipe for 320. And the one reason why I know there's going to be a wipe for 320, even if they fix it, the ship insurance exploitation with guns in there, people are duping stuff and selling it. Yeah, or you could put a fully loaded C2's cargo into a sand cave. Yeah, that'll do it. I know if you crash, so if you take two C2s, fully load them with cargo, with the cargo refactor and PES, and you crash them into each other, and the boxes fall out in the roughly the same area, that'll also 30K the servers. No. What he's saying is pilot a C2 and its cargo into a sand cave, and it'll 30K server. Yeah, with all the I agree, Jim. With all the duplicating right now, they're gonna have to do a wipe. Immerse, what's up? Hey, thanks for joining us on your lunch. I appreciate it, man. So there's not local inventory in there. It's just crashing or unloading an entire C2 in there. Another thing that you can do, and people do it, is I haven't seen it in a while, but I have seen it where people will load up a whole bunch of delivery boxes into a large ship, and then with all of those markers that have to be spawned in on the C2 or the Caterpillar or whatever they're using, and they fly it towards like Everest Harbor or Port Tressler or whatever, it'll actually slow the entire server down to like one frame. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's gonna suck, Marcus. But like I said, if I hit the lottery, I'm buying everybody in our little org an A2.
Much nicer if you do this. They may add it to the game, you know, with the community support and stuff. And so now one of the newest things is called persistent universe, where if you're like in your ship and you put a fuzzy doll on your desk in the ship,
persistent entity streaming,
it's going to be there until you just take it away months later, 6 months later. If you land on a moon and you...
So another hot take, the persistent entity streaming, the way they have it set it up right now, with the way things are going on in the servers and whatnot, until server meshing comes online, the decay rate is going to have to be ramped way up. It's getting a little out of hand with the amount of ships, the abandoned ships around stations, abandoned ships around bunkers, the amount of waste laying around space stations. They need to ramp up the decay rate. You know, ships, 1 hour. That's it. 1 hour. 1 hour and your ship goes bye-bye. All the, let's say, the medical garments, the water bottles, and everything else that lay around space stations, 2 minutes tops. 2 minutes. That's the maximum I would set it at. If you throw it into a garbage can, it should immediately despawn. Bodies should be destroyed. Ships in front of the hangar. One or two things need to happen. That either needs to be an area where it detects that there's parts of a ship laying around and it despawns immediately, or we need to be able to get salvage contract missions to do salvage is within an armistice zone, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Ruboy, what's up? And I seriously think that they're going to have to get very aggressive with PES. It's going to have to happen.
I don't know, throw your gun on the, if I can say that on the channel,
yeah.
Your weapon on the ground, you come back a month later, it's still going to be there unless another player came and picked it up, because it's a massive multiplayer game. And it's such a nice community because you can actually land somewhere and then see other people landing their ships or taking off in ground vehicles and doing their thing. You can do co-op stuff together. You can go bounty hunting if another player is against the law. You'll have missions to go and get them and bring them to justice, and they can go to jail if you catch them.
Yeah, we should have destroy item, or
I guess best memories in the game.
We should have destroy item in our inventory system.
That's when the shenanigans happen. That's when you're like, okay, we're going to go do this mission, but then the game goes silent.
See, my thought behind that, Marcus, and I should have expounded upon that, is if you salvage something down, so let's say it was, a chunk of ship, and you salvage it down and all you see is the innards and the ribs and whatnot of that ship, I think it should despawn within a couple of minutes after that. Same thing. So, right, JT, if you're talking about salvage exploitation right now, here's another hot take. I get called a griefer if I shoot at somebody near a space station. Look, I was shot at at a space station the other night. I did not call him a griefer. I did tell him that he was a bitch because even though I had my shields up and I knew he was out there, as soon as the hangar doors opened, he shot down into my hangar and blew off my wing. So basically, there was literally no way I was going to win that fight. That's a bitch move, in my opinion. Did I call him a griefer? No, I did not. Here's my thing. All these industrialists call pirates and people that shoot at each other griefers. You are griefing the system, and you are an insurance fraud, and you should be getting a crime stat every time you pull out your friend's ship or you take your friend's ship out. You go out into deep space, and then you hop over to his reclaimer and start scraping off his ship or your ship, and then you fly it back, repair it, or reclaim it, and then fly back out there and do the exact same thing over and over and over again, making sweet, sweet money. Now, granted, it's not as high as doing the salvage. It's not as high as doing the salvage missions, but they're still making more money out there in peace, reliably, every single minute, every single hour. Whereas people that mine, what was I going to say? Where people that mine, people that do bounties, people that do beacons, the actual salvage missions and the actual looking for salvage. This, I think the salvaging thing where you go and you commit insurance fraud is just as bad as some of the other shit talking that they do to other people that don't participate in the industrial stuff, do the cargo running and everything else. They're just as bad. In my opinion, they're griefing the system, and they're committing insurance fraud, and they should be getting hit with a crime stat when they do stuff like that. Is it feasible to do in game? No, it's not. Am I kind of bitching about something that I can't fix? Yeah, I'm bitching about something I can't fix, but I still think it's a cheap way to play the game, and it's a cheap way to make money and a cheap way to get to your ships and your end goals faster, while the rest of us are actually out grinding and playing the play loops, or excuse me, testing the play loops. Let me catch up on chat here real quick. Jonathan, they don't care, man. If you logged in Invictus, you could do a thing. ASOPs don't work. Elevators have doors. Trying to get new guys to buy stuff. At no point did they mention anything. Yeah, no, you're right about that, Jonathan. Special permit, pay to play 60 minutes salvage at a station. You pay small fee to salvage by permit, just like any other contract. Yeah, but then we have that same issue, like I was saying, like once it's been salvaged, it still doesn't disappear. It needs to disappear. It needs to have a decay rate where it actually, you know. My interpretation of TOS is that I can shoot into the hangars if someone is trying to escape a fight, but if they're spawning and taking off, let them take off. I won't shoot fresh spawn until they fully emerge from the hangar. See, that's the thing. Like, I didn't care the guy wanted to fight, but getting my wing blown off in the hangar while I'm waiting for the hangar door to open up just enough for me to squeeze out, that, like I said, that's kind of a bitch move. That being said, I did not immediately go into the global chat and be like, Reefer! I think you should have infinite shields in the armistice zones. Well, the armistice zones are going away. So the armistice zones are going away. Like, they're fully going away. And there's going to be a free-for-all around space stations, especially the more popular ones. Being associated with salvage. Yeah, there's definitely ways to work around for it. You're right. They're right. Like a VIN, like you're saying, there's definitely a way around it. I feel like it's a really, really cheap way to make money while being completely safe. Jim, it's not that bad. Like, I can go 2 months without, and I play 2 to 3 hours a day every day. I don't see many people showing up outside of the major space stations and causing fights. Do I see it occasionally? Yeah, I do. I definitely see it, but it's not like rampant. Yeah, I think there should be punishment for insurance fraud in this game. It's a crime in the real world, and you know, Chris Roberts is all about making this like the real world. Should be a crime in the video game. I'm just saying.
Sideways, and that's how you just remember for months and years all the fun that you've had in this game. So it's new technology. The company that's putting it together is called CIG. robertspaceindustries is kind of the whole term, but they actually are literally developing new tech in order to develop the game. So it's stuff that's just never been created before, and that's what's mind-blowing about it for me, being a tech enthusiast. So if you have the highest end hardware, it's still going to kind of struggle because I push the limits. I play in 4K, ultra settings, so I'm going to know how this 13900KS processor is going to perform with thermoelectric cooling, sub-ambient, or the 4090, or a 7950X, or the X3D chip. So that's one thing about PC hardware testing that I really enjoy is what's the real world testing? Anybody can run a benchmark. You know, what is Cinebench R23 saying? But how does it perform on patch 3.18 in Star Citizen, and then the next week?
Wait, you got to play 3.18? What? This guy's got tech privilege, man. Some TikTok privilege.
Because patch 3.19, does it perform worse, better? And there's a whole community that wants to know because they're going to go to Micro Centers or Best Buy or wherever to buy the hardware.
It's not griefing though, Rue. It's not griefing. Griefing in TOS, there's only 4 ways to grief somebody in TOS. And we'll start off with the first one, which is irrelevant to most people. Or irrelevant? Yeah, irrelevant to most people. Stream sniping. Although I'm kind of on the fence with stream sniping. What's up, Canop? I'm on the fence with stream sniping. If you're publicly putting out your information, where you are, what you're doing, that's your fault and that's your risk. 2, griefing somebody is pad ramming them. So pad ramming at a mining outpost is not against TOS. Pad ramming on the Platinum Bay pads is against TOS. Pad ramming at one of the stations on any of those pads that can spawn a vehicle or a ship, that is against TOS. And then the fourth thing is following somebody around server to server or across the server to kill them repeatedly over and over and over again. And I'll add a fifth one on my own, and that's looking them up on social media, using the Robert Space Industries website, and then looking them up through social media to harass them outside of the game, whether it's in Discord or any other various form of social media. And that's it for griefing. Anything else, according to TOS, if somebody is attacking you, you either attack them back or you attack back with higher force. But Rue, it's a soft armistice right now. It's a soft armistice right now. Anybody can kill anybody at a space station right now, with the only threat being a CS3 crime stat. That's it. And then if you continue to do it, you go up to 4 and then 5. So you can already do it right now, and they're not war zones. So nothing is going to change. And then if, let's say they remove the armistice zone and server meshing all comes online within around the same time. The thing is, if you have server meshing and you pull the armistice zones, right, and people are PvPing outside of that, you can type in chat, hey, there's a guy being an ass at whatever station, let's get him out of here. People are going to show up and fight. Station torps that attack you for 5. Yeah. Doxing is absolutely the worst. Yeah, and yes, you can ram in these zones, and I don't care for ramming. I think ramming is by far one of the worst ways to go about killing somebody, because it's zero skill. It really is. It's zero skill. Hey, Pops, how you doing? How you doing there over on Kick? If you soft death a ship, it's a crime stat too. If you completely kill it, it's a CS3.
Specific for the game that they love.
Right.
And so when I produce content, I'm like, hey, this is excellent for Star Citizen. People actually go out and purchase that hardware, which is mind-blowing to me, but yeah, I'm happy to help with that.
I mean, your system's pretty high-end,
yeah.
4090, 13900K, X3D parts.
And I bet you he's pulling 20 FPS.
Because I got a way more broken down system
at Lorville.
Here, so.
Well, if you have multiple 4090s, that may help. Yeah, but no.
How's it get down?
It's, again, in alpha, so it's not optimized at all. So when they're putting a feature in the game, it's to see if it conceptually works, and if the players love it, and if they need to.
So, I agree, Comanche. I think we were just talking about this on my live stream the other day. Like, if you're being attacked or you're being hit by pirates, you need to. There should be an option for you to drop a beacon, just like you can for a medical or for a pickup. There should be an option for you to put up a beacon saying, hey, I'm under attack, come and give me a hand. And, you know, it puts you in the party with them until the contract is complete. So that way, when you show up, you're already in the party, you know who the friendlies are, and the bad guys should be red for you already. I'm going to back this up a little bit. I didn't hear exactly what he said. That's what I said, Jonathan. I said that if I'm on the fence with stream sniping, because I don't think it's griefing. If you put out your information and people can see it, then that's kind of on you. So either be good at PvP or don't bitch about it.
So it's not optimized at all. So when they're putting a feature in the game, it's to see if it conceptually works, and if the players love it, and if they need to tweak it. And then down the road, then they'll optimize it so it'll run on bare bones systems, right?
That's not going to.
Older features that are in game, yeah, they run very nicely on 1060s, you know, GPUs
Okay.
and lower end CPUs.
That's true, Marcus.
But it is a CPU.
It's the same when you put up a medical
need a lot
beacon.
of RAM.
You know, somebody can take it and just come
That
there and
all
kill
helps
you
out.
and strip you.
So
take your ship.
It's something that you don't need to spend too much money on, but you
Put
know,
your ship out into deep space and salvage it.
That is actually the most important question because I saw like Star Citizen. I thought like, wow, this ship looks cool. Some of it's pretty.
Yeah.
Some of it's very expensive. What does it take for a cheapskate like me to get into the game? Do I need to pay a lot of money?
Well, I know you're a very wealthy man, so
I got kids.
You can easily spend $40,000 on a ship package in Star Citizen. You can
Which is
easily
ridiculous.
Spend $45, and then that's it. No subscription, nothing like that. So it's really dependent on how you want to support the game. 45 bucks, get a basic ship, game package, go off and running, and you can buy all the ships in game just from playing the game. If you really become enthused about it, or if you're a busy person like me, I mean, you're busy too, but like if there's a wipe, like everything starts from zero, I just want to log into the game and, hey, my ships are there because I purchased them. And it's a good feeling because I'm supporting a game that I know and love, and I love the community. So it's kind of a nice benefit. You know, my money's helping the project, but I don't have time to spend a week to get the ship that I want and love. I can just log in and it's there. So it depends on how you want to do it.
No, I hear you. I play World of Warships.
I love World of Warships. Yes.
I do, but I will say it's challenging for the class I play. And it's just gotten so.
Comanche, I think I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is I think the HUD needs to be completely revamped. It needs to be completely revamped. And I've played a lot of games now. I've played a lot of games where you can change, like, so, you know, if you play on the older Battlefield games, the crosshair that's in the middle of the screen, you know, the little oop, you could change that. And I was constantly changing mine to a bright color, so that way the white didn't get washed out in the background of, you know, let's say Battlefield 1 or Battlefield Bad Company or, you know, whatever Battlefield it was. The crosshairs, I turn them like lime green or like a bright yellow, or, you know, if I was feeling in a squirrely mood, like a neon purple, just so that it stood out against the background and I constantly knew where my crosshairs were. I think CIG needs to allow us to mix and match our HUD colors and not be so stuck on the light, bright blue that gets washed out in everything, including the sunlight. Makes snow, moons less bright. Yeah, exactly. You know, like, there's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done, and I hope, you know, going back to Starfield and what I was saying earlier, I hope that Starfield really lights a fire under their asses and gets them going, because Marcus said yesterday in his stream they got 1 year or less before harder questions than when, where, and how are going to start coming their way. And that some of those harder questions are going to be, well, why should I back you anymore? So that's going to eventually start coming, especially if Starfield does well. That you're not going to get those questions if Starfield comes out and is an immediate flop. Starfield needs to do well, and then you're going to get those really hard questions being asked. Thank you guys for the 15 likes. Yeah, polarization would help too. When 318 first came out, they fixed the icy moon, and now it's
hard, and I'm looking for a nicer experience, so that's why I'm excited about it. And I buy plenty of ships, so I'm okay with that. Like, because there's certain things that I like, and it's worth supporting them.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for something new. So
it's a good balance, you know, because World of Warships is honestly the only other game I actively play besides Star Citizen.
Okay.
Because Star Citizen's, you know, vast universe that you can enjoy, massive multiplayer, but then sometimes you just want to play something for 20 minutes.
And sometimes you're 30K and you get pissed off and you turn off Star Citizen and you go play World of Warships. Tell the truth.
Right.
World of Warships is just that. You know, I love it.
I have a final question for me. Do I need joystick, controller, or keyboard mouse for it?
So a lot of the best, like PvPers and stuff, they just use keyboard and mouse. Everybody can just use keyboard and mouse.
4 or 5 of the top PvPers use keyboard and mouse. The rest of them use left hand stick, right hand mouse.
That's perfectly fine. the immersion is something that Star Citizen really got me, right? So it's like when you're walking
That's true.
around,
I forgot about the Star Citizen Bounty Hunter game that's open
world. I just
world.
wanted to take it to the next level, so I did get a HOTAS, hands-on throttle and stick. So it's like I'm pushing forward on my throttle, got my joystick type of thing. Some people like dual sticks if they're like in like smaller ships. They like to be more maneuverable, so they're kind of like this and like Mandalorian. It's taste and preferences. There's really no bad. Last
night I heard, I was on my lunch and I visited a couple of streamers that were streaming very late night, and they said that two of the three that I visited said that they were getting hit with hub authentication, where it would just go and hub authentication, and then they would get an error message 1900K. So that's interesting. We'll see if that carries over.
Best way. It's really just what you personally enjoy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm gonna say you've convinced me. It's $45 to buy in. I'm gonna.
There we go.
Yeah. I want to land on a planet. I'm sure I'm gonna get the Volkswagen bug of ships when I start, but I'm looking forward to it.
Remember, it's an alpha. So alpha is not for everybody. If you're fine with when you load the game, you wake up out of your bed, you stand up, and then you fall through the planet, you laugh at it. Start over, you know? Things happen. If you land your ship, you're like, perfect landing. Ship blows.
Ruboy, I think HUDs should be specific to the manufacturer, but they should still allow us to customize the brightness, the contrast, and the colors.
Just laugh, all right? And sometimes the servers will be perfect, where you have no bugs for maybe a month, right? Just perfect.
What game is this guy playing? No bugs for a month. Let's see if he backs that up with something else.
So it all depends on what's going on in the back end, how they're developing the game. And I've never known a game to be developed in a way where the creators of the game are so in tune with the community, actively telling the community what's going on. They do live.
They do not tell us that. Okay, they do the lives and they do the Inside Star Citizens, but most of that is for future stuff. They don't tell us very much of anything. They usually just do it, and then we either start bitching about it and they go back and adjust it or fix it or whatever. They don't tell us anything. And a lot of times we don't find out when a patch is coming out, specifically major patches, until it's like the eve of. Like 3.18, I didn't know it was coming out until the day before. So don't give me this. They're so in tune with the community, and they're helping the community out, and they tell us everything, and they're so transparent. They don't tell us shit. And on top of that, and I hate to keep dumping on Squadron 42, we have not gotten a vertical slice, and I didn't know this until recently, and I actually have gone back and tried to find stuff to try to disprove it. We have not gotten a vertical slice of Squadron 42 since 2017. Let that sink in. Since 2017, we've gotten a little bit of gameplay snidbits here and there, but they're like little half a minute to a minute and a half long, and they don't show very much.
Live shows every week and all kinds of forums saying this is the new patch notes. This patch is going live in the back end. You won't see anything, but this is what's happening. Just so informative. And that makes it more comfortable for me to spend my time playing a game like this and buying a ship or two every now and then.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks. By the way, I'm going to mention it again. The Poets, find his content on YouTube. Go over there, like and subscribe, click that bell button. And, of course, on TikTok, search for The Poets, DAPOETS.
There we go.
If you want to hear more awesome coverage from Computex 2023, please come back to our channel. Look at the videos. Go to PCWorld.com. We'll see you soon.
That was an interesting video. I'd say thanks PC World, but PC World is blah. That was an interesting video.